Cyril's promise, there will be action and will have DA's full support if he's genuine about economic reform, says Maimane. President Cyril Ramaphosa will have the DA's full support if he does what is in the interest of South Africa and is genuine about economic reform, says DA leader Mmusi Maimane. The DA leader congratulated Ramaphosa on his swearing-in as president of the country on Saturday, saying this marked the possibility of change that builds once and for all. If the president is what is in the interest of South Africa and is genuine about economic reform, he will have the full support of the DA, Maimane said. Maimane said that key cabinet changes would signal a commitment to reform. These would include reducing the economic cluster to 3 key ministries to enable more coherent economic policy, namely finance, state-owned entities and jobs. He added that the Minister of Finance must be committed and authorized to set a debt ceiling, and the Public Enterprises Minister must be willing to privatize non-strategic SOEs such as SAE, and to restructure Eskom to enable a private sector-led transition to cheaper, cleaner energy sources. Entrepreneurs, Maimane said, were the solution not the problem, and labor legislation, especially that which restricted small business, must be significantly liberalized by the new Minister of Jobs. The Jobs Minister must be committed to visa reform to boost tourism and investment so it is easier for critical skills and foreign currency to enter South Africa. The president must also appoint a basic education minister who was committed and strong enough to stand up to teachers' unions SADTU, and teachers needed to be properly assessed, trained and incentivized. Among other changes recommended by Maimane was merging the sports ministry with basic education to achieve bottom-up transformation in sport, while science and technology should be merged with higher education to better foster innovation, he said. He also suggested that, rather than implementing unaffordable national health insurance, we should concentrate on fixing our public hospitals, expanding access to primary health care clinics, and on leveraging the private health sector for maximum public benefit. Provinces must be empowered to administer their own police forces because crime fighting needs urgent localized knowledge and intelligence on the ground. South Africa needs a minister of local government who pushes for more devolution of power to cities, be it to run their own railways or to purchase their own electricity directly from suppliers. State security must have a minister who can professionalize the department and get it focused on ensuring the nation's security and fighting corruption rather than on waging factional battles. President Ramaphosa needs to use the opportunity to be honest with the nation about and explain to people why populist solutions, no matter how attractive they may appear, will ultimately lead to South Africa's downfall, as they have done in Zimbabwe, Venezuela and elsewhere, and Ramaphosa should convene a summit on race and reconciliation so we can find each other and start working together as one nation with one shared future. President Ramaphosa will have my full support when he prioritizes the national interest over his party's interest. Beginning with these reforms would be a huge step in the right direction, said Ramaphosa. President Cyril Ramaphosa promised South Africans a presidency of action as he delivered his inauguration speech in Pretoria on Saturday. Addressing thousands of ordinary citizens and dignitaries, Ramaphosa said South Africans wanted action and not just words. And there will be action, he said. He said it was through our actions now that the country's destiny would be determined. It is through our actions now that we will give form to the society for which so many have fought and sacrificed and for which all of us yearn. All South Africans yearn for a society defined by equality, by solidarity, by a shared humanity. They yearn for a society in which our worth is determined by how we value others, said Ramaphosa. He said South Africa could no longer accept the grave disparities between the rich and poor, adding that it threatened the country's future. It is our shared will, and our shared responsibility, to build a society that knows neither privilege nor disadvantage. It is a society where those who have much are willing to share with those who have little, he said. He said in such a society, every person, regardless of race or sex or circumstance, may experience the fundamental necessities of a decent, dignified life. Ramaphosa said the road ahead would be difficult and courage, Wisdom and perseverance were required. Let us forge a compact for growth and economic opportunity, for productive lands and viable communities, for knowledge, for innovation, and for services that are affordable, accessible and sustainable, added Ramaphosa. He said the people of South Africa voted for leaders who would safeguard their rights, and in turn, the elected representatives had accepted the people's vote by saying Thumatina, Santas. Ramaphosa further acknowledged the democratic government's failures, saying many South Africans were still going to bed hungry while others succumbed to treatable diseases. In recent times, our people have watched as some of those in whom they had invested their trust have surrendered to the temptation of power and riches. They have seen some of the very institutions of our democracy eroded and resources squandered. The challenges that we face are real, but they are not insurmountable. They can be solved. And we are going to solve them, said Ramaphosa.
Let it go.